Versatile Mage. Chapter 562. Invaded by Undead. A second fireball flew at the zombie that had killed 2 villagers. The explosion even burned the wooden barrier nearby. The rain had weakened the power of the flames. The fire on the zombie was soon extinguished. The young man called Hong Jun spat on the ground disdainfully. If it weren't for the rain, his 2 fire bursts would have blasted the zombie to pieces. The zombie did not die yet. It struggled to its feet and screamed at Hong Jun with its bloody mouth. Its body was completely out of shape, yet that did not lower its speed. It simply dashed toward Hong Jun, running on all 4 limbs. Another fire burst appeared on Hong Jun's palm. Unfortunately, the fire burst missed the fast-moving zombie, which had already arrived in front of Hong Jun, leaving his face pale. "Back off," barked the voice of an old man. It was the village's chief, the man who had come to take the medicine before, Xi Sang. Xi Sang had rolling waves of energy around him. Following his cry, a surging tide swept toward the zombie. The zombie was struck down by the raging tides in the air. It was completely immobilized by the rolling water, which swept it all the way outside of the barrier. The wooden barrier was destroyed by the force. Meanwhile, the zombie was also swept far away, no longer posing a threat to the village. The villagers let out a relieved sigh after seeing this. Luckily, their chief was an intermediate magician. Otherwise, they would be helpless against a mutated undead. "Your pride almost cost you your life," humphed Xi Sang coldly as he walked past Hong Jun. Hong Jun quickly collected his thoughts, yet he showed no signs of remorse. He completely ignored the chief's words and walked toward Su Shaoluo. However, his eyes flickered with anger when he saw the wild man who had appeared out of nowhere helping Su Shaoluo up from the ground. He was the one that saved her, yet how did this guy get all the credit? "It's been years since we last saw a mutated undead. Why would they appear out of nowhere?" Su Shaoluo glanced after the undead that had been swept away by the magic. "Who knows? But Xiao Luo, don't you worry, with me here, the undead won't hurt you," declared Hong Jun. Meanwhile, Zhang Xiaohou had grabbed a black umbrella out of nowhere and was about to raise it above Su Shaoluo's head. To his surprise, Hong Jun snatched the umbrella away from him after thanking him rudely. The guy then shared the umbrella with Su Shaoluo, pushing Zhang Xiaohou aside. Su Shaoluo was so occupied with the undead that she was unaware of all this. However, Hong Jun grinned and glanced at Zhang Xiaohou mockingly. "I should go and take a look at the undead's body," Su Shaoluo said firmly. "I'll go with you," said Zhang Xiaohou. "You should just stay in the village. You're just a dumbass who can't even remember who you are. Didn't you see how dangerous the undead was? I bet you will be the first to run when another zombie appears." Hong Jun shoved Zhang Xiaohou aside and summoned a fireball on his palm, as if he were putting up a show. "Stop with the childish act." Su Shaoluo rolled her eyes. She put on the raincoat and headed outside the barrier. "Shaoluo, don't go, it's too dangerous," warned Madame Xi. A fairly tanned old man nodded. "Yeah, it's too dangerous to go out of the village now." "It must be a curse. I told you we're cursed," screamed the same villager with a sharp face. "Guzi, can you stop scaring yourself?" said Hong Jun. Xi Sang stood on the side. Most villagers had arrived at the entrance and immediately panicked when they saw the 2 corpses on the ground. They quickly gathered around their chief. The villagers had grown up drinking from the well. As long as they drank from the well every month, they would not be attacked by the undead. Thus the village did not need the protection of magicians. But considering that the place was fairly close to Qinling Mountains, there might be demon beasts looking for food too. The water from the well was not effective against the demon beasts, hence normally the village would have 1 or 2 magicians, and they would be appointed chief most of the time. Now that a mutated undead had appeared, the magicians who were the only way to deal with the undead became extremely important to the village. "Shaoluo, go and see what's wrong with that zombie. Hong Jun, you too, just in case there are zombies like it out there. Fu Da, you should stay here. You're not from our village, so you haven't been drinking the water from the well. The ordinary zombies would attack you too, said Xe Sang. The chief Xe Sang called a few other fearless young men to go with them. Su Xiaoluo led them out and headed for the hole where the broken barrier had been swept away by the rolling waves. The zombie ended up quite far away, at least 100 or 200 meters from the village. The villagers usually would avoid coming out at night, even though the undead would not attack them. Who could possibly guarantee that they wouldn't stumble into creatures that simply killed anything they saw? The others were too afraid to leave the village. They simply stood at the barrier and watched the group leave. It was around evening, and their range of vision was fairly low due to the rain. They could at best see 300 to 400 meters into the distance. However, it would turn completely dark in a few minutes. Su Xiaoluo, Hong Jun, and 3 other young men approached the rotten corpse. Su Xiaoluo was a doctor, thus she was not too afraid of a dead body. She knelt down and began to inspect the corpse. Can you hurry up? It's just a dead body, nothing fascinating. 2 of the young men spoke out nervously, too scared to stay outside. Hong Jun said with a laugh, "Why are you two so scared when I'm here?" "Yeah, that's right. Brother Hong Jun is a fire magician, a 3rd level basic magician. Isn't that quite impressive, even in the outside world?" wondered another young man. "I think so." Su Xiaoluo frowned as she slowly rose to her feet. The others immediately asked her about the reason that the zombie had attacked them. "It's only an ordinary zombie," concluded Su Xiaoluo. "How's that possible? We've been drinking the water from the well for generations. We should be protected. Every family in our village has just gone through the rituals of the well god. Why would a normal undead attack us?" asked one of the young men. Su Xiaoluo fell silent, as she could not find an answer to the question. Hong Jun was not too bothered by it. He was just about to comfort the girl when an eerie voice came from nearby in the midst of the rain. It sounded like someone dragging their feet, something munching on rotten flesh, joints crackling, etc. The sound grew louder from all directions. "Oh heavens!" one of the young men screamed. Hong Jun turned around and saw countless pairs of bloodshot eyes staring at them. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.